everybody, I'm excited to share the Hruska Clinic 2020 updated shoe list with you. I appreciate your patience as we were waiting for shoes to come back. Secondary to COVID-19, there was a backlog of shoes and we were just able to look at the last of the shoes in the last couple of days. I just wanted to let you know of some changes with shoes that have gone off the list, on the list, and kind of like what we're looking at in 2020 and moving forward from the Hruska Clinic perspective with integration with Postural Restoration. I have to tell you guys that this is probably one of the most challenging shoe lists I've had to put together since 2008. Back in 2008, we really struggled with shoes because the bottom part of the shoe was really very minimalistically made. We had heel counters that collapsed in, we had lateral give on the outside of the heel, and we really were struggling to find shoes that were really supported on the bottom part of the foot. Well, this year it's kind of flipped. Shoe companies have done a really great job of the bottom part of the shoe, but there's really a trend across all shoes right now for there to be more of like one material, which I'll show you guys here in a minute, with the upper part of the shoe. But I kind of want to explain the impact of that would have with our postural restoration patients. With PRI and the Hruska Clinic, we are really trying to get our patients to be able to sense the ground and to be able to integrate with the floor to allow for proper forward locomotor movement. We want our patients to be able to walk through the gait cycle with the reciprocal and alternating movement without compensation through their bite, their neck, their back, their hip flexors, and their foot and ankle. If we put our patients with proper shoes, they are going to be able to integrate their foot with that shoe in order to go heel, arch, and toe through the gait cycle with correct postural stability through their body, through their neck, trunk, and pelvis to get reciprocal and alternating movement through the arms and through the legs. Qualities that we look for in a shoe in the Hruska Clinic is that we look for heel counters that don't collapse in. We look for shoes that bend at the toe box because that is a normal bend of your foot. We like heels that are symmetrical back behind, and that there's not a lot of collapsing of the heel down here when you press down. Because if there's a heel give on the outside of the shoe like there used to be, our foot is going to fall in the path of least resistance. Some other qualities that we've been looking for at the Hruska Clinic on our shoes is we also like our heel cuffs to be narrow. We like our heel cuffs to have a tall vertical so it can cover your calcaneus or your heel bone. And we also like shoes to be able to have an oblique axis to allow for that heel repronation of the midfoot, or to be able to find an arch and to be able to push off of a big toe so you can extend your hip and get pushed with your glute muscle. Well, this year there has been some changes with the upper part of the shoe. This is the A6 Cumulus 22 that fits all of the criteria that I just discussed. However, the upper part of the shoe is like one material. And when you have the shoe that is one material, it doesn't allow the foot to decelerate inside of the shoe to allow the foot to work with the shoe. Now the shoe and the foot aren't working together in order to find the floor to be able to get heel, arch, and toe without compensation, possibly through a bite, a neck, a back, hip flexors, or foot and ankle. This is the Brooks Dyad 11, and you're going to see the upper part of this shoe is made out of different material. When you have different material or a different design or stitching or different parts of the shoe, it helps to decelerate that foot inside of the shoe. Then it allows the shoe to help guide the foot to get proper grounding on the floor for correct movement going forward. In our clinic, we're going to be probably moving towards the trend of working a lot with the Brooks Dyad 11 because of this component that it has with the upper part of the shoe. A lot of shoe companies are kind of like the ASICs where they're going to one material with the upper part of the shoe, even though they have a lot of other qualities about that shoe that we like. The Brooks Dyad 11 is one shoe we really like. We also like the Brooks Addiction 14, and we also like the Brooks Addiction Walker Suede shoe. These are going to be three shoes we'll probably be working quite a bit here in the clinic. You're going to see on the shoe list, we're going to have the Hruska Clinic Integrated Footwear list, which are probably going to be some of our top shoes that we're going to be working with here in the clinic. You're also going to see on that shoe list the ASICS Nimbus 22 and a few other shoes that haven't been on the list in the past. We still have the same categories that we had last year, where we had shoes that allowed for patients to have a fusion in their first ray, or if they have limited mobility in their first big toe joint, that you want to put your patients more in a rocker type of shoe. Otherwise, they're going to overwork their hip flexor when they walk or when they run. And we still have category of shoes that provide that for your patients. In addition, we also have the category of a rigid midfoot. These are individuals that have a high arched foot. And we also have a category of an average to a low arched foot. And you're going to see some crossing between different categories. But the categories of the limited first ray, the high arches or the low to mid arch are going to be more for patients that are not going through an integrated process with postural restoration or retraining their body how to repattern itself during the gait cycle. We're going to be gravitating towards the Hruska Clinic Integrated Foot list because we look at shoes differently because of the impact that the ground can have on the entire neurological system, musculoskeletal system, and sensory system. We look at shoes differently than your average shoe store or average foot person. I also wanted to let you guys know that a lot of the New Balance shoes are no longer on the list because they've gone to, even though it looks like they have a lot of vertical in their heel counter, it's really soft for part of it. So look how low that heel counter is on the back. That isn't going to cover your calcaneus. And if your calcaneus or your heel bone doesn't have good support, you can't rework the mid part of the foot to resupinate during the gait cycle and push off the big toe. So this is off of our shoe list. The Brooks Levitate, the Saucony Echelon, the heel counters completely collapsed in. Some of the other shoes like the Hoka Raha and the Saucony Triumph, also like the New Balance, also have really low height with their heel counters. So those were some of the changes with the shoe list. Please look at the shoe list that is on our website at hruskaclinic.com. If you have questions, let me know. We're going to continue to look at shoes over the course of the next few months. Our local shoe store is ordering shoes in, so we're going to be updating that shoe list over the course of the next couple of months as we find shoes that might work better with our patients. I really appreciate your time to look at the video, and thank you for valuing our shoe list here at the Hruska Clinic. Have a great day.